Hello everyone and welcome to Don't Be Bored. Today I'm here to review for you Mimic Octopus, and in particular this is the original edition. There is a flirt version and there is another one as well, and this was provided to me at Essen Spiel for the review, just so you are aware. How this game plays is that you're going to be setting up these sets of cards. They're pre-sorted in the game box when you get it first, so don't start shuffling. Put them out into piles of 3 cards, and then each round you're going to, depending on the player count, pick up so many of those piles. So let's say it's 4 players, you're going to grab 3 of those. So 4 players, there's 9 cards in that stack. You shuffle them up and deal one out to each player. Now what this means is there's potentially some very different sort of tasks or things going on those cards. Now I don't want to reveal too many of them, but maybe you've got a song stuck in your head, or there's a fly flying around, that sort of thing. And you're trying to subtly hint towards the other players that that's what's on your card, while just generally talking. So it's kind of a weird party experience that you're breaking the ice with, but it's good with people that you know really well. And all of a sudden, you've got people going like, because they're watching that fly, or pretend fly, because that's on their card, and you're watching someone else go out and go, what are they doing? That's nothing like what's written on my card. And you're trying to work out if someone has the same card as you. Are you on a team, effectively? So in that 4-player example, because of the way you've shuffled the cards, 3 people could be on the same team with 1 person on their own. It could be like 2 teams. It could be 1 team and 2 people that are on their own. And you're trying to work that out. And these are quite almost weird and wonderful little sort of things that you've got to be doing. Scratching your ear maybe, or like I said, you've got that song stuck in your head. Maybe you just start talking about music and see if anyone picks up on that. Like, oh, have you heard the new song from... And, well, the first time you go through this deck, you're not going to really know what those topics are. So it's maybe a bit more obvious to the other player that's, oh, they are talking about music, that's on my card as well, sort of thing. When you think you know if you're on a team or you're not on a team, and you know who you're on a team with as well, you put your hand up. That is basically a self-timer for the group, because when half the table have got their hand up, the game round is over. All of a sudden, you'll do a countdown, and you'll either be pointing at the 1 player on your team, the 2 people on your team, saying that I'm on no team, or saying I'm not on a team, but someone will think I am. So there is a chance for you to start bluffing. Now, when you don't know the cards, that's maybe a little bit harder unless they're not subtle about it. But play through the game and go through the cards again. You're starting to know what some of them are, and then you can start to be like, they're talking about music. Maybe if I just hum something, they're going to think I'm on their team, and I don't think I am. So all of a sudden, you go for this. They go, I'm on your team, and you're like, I'm not on your team, and I knew someone would think I was. So they're the 4 things you can be. 1 person on your team, 2 people on your team, no one's on my team, no one's on my team, but someone will think I am. And that last bit makes the game, because you can push your luck from it. Because if you get it right and 1 person's on your team and they choose you, you get 1 point. If you get it right and 2 people are pointing at you because they're on your team and you've all done it, then you're getting 2 points. An octopus and no one else is on your team, 1 point. An octopus, but someone's going to point at you, is worth more. So you kind of, that's worth 2 points. So you get the sort of opportunity to bluff a little bit in this that really comes out once you sort of have played the game a couple of times and have the chance of knowing what's coming up. So all the stacks you've made at the beginning of the game, you're going to play through all of those, remembering depending on the player count you're using like 3 stacks in a round. Once they're all gone, then it's time to work out who's scored the most points, because you're using those cards that you've used just to remember who's got the most points. And that is how you play, and well, like I've sort of alluded to, it really does get going once you've played sort of a game. Because once you've played a game, you'll have gone most of the way through the cards, maybe 2/3. The next game, you start from like the ones you've not used, and then all of a sudden you'll start going back through cards you've used. And that's, to me, I was a little worried. I was a little worried, but actually, once you've gone through a card that you've already seen, that's when the bluffing can come out, because you can kind of go, they're being a bit too obvious about this. Maybe if that's what they're going for, that's what's on their card. It's not on mine, but I'm going to bluff and get some points here from them screwing up. And it's also meaning they're not getting any points, because if you properly manage to pull off that bluffing Octopus, because it's Mimic Octopus, then all of a sudden they're not getting points, you're getting 2, and that's quite a big swing in this game. It's actually very, very close on points at times, because if you work out quite quickly, oh, these people are on my team, and you all put your hand up, the other person, like in a 4-player game or maybe 5-player game, whatever, is sat there going, okay, they're really, really convinced they know they're on the same team, I'm assuming, so I'm probably not on their team, so I'm going to do the octopus symbol. And I think that's a really cool sort of thing where it's like, actually, you start, but when you're playing, you start realising, I don't want to be too obvious, because then the other people around the table are probably going to get an easy point out of this as well, because they know I'm not on their team. They've already ruled me out. Whereas if I can be a bit more subtle, they'll maybe slightly think I'm on their team and they won't get points. And that's where this game comes alive. Now, for those of you that don't like sort of being put on the spot a little bit, being put in the spotlight, you're not fully in the spotlight at any time, but there are some cards in this which are a little bit silly. Maybe you've got an imaginary friend or something like that, and it's like, some people aren't going to like that sort of silliness vibe to the game. However, if that is what you're looking for in a sort of partyish sort of game where you're actually still just chatting amongst your friends, but throwing in some weird oddities, and those are normally hinting towards what's on your card, then this is going to be one that is excelling for you and your group. We've had someone that doesn't really like that sort of silliness being put on the spot, and they didn't vibe with this game too much. They still enjoyed it and played it with everyone else, but they were sort of also quite happy when we moved on. So just know that depending on what you're looking for in a game, this may or may not be for you for that reason. But if you're up for a little bit of silliness, well, Mimic Octopus has plenty of that. One thing about a number of the Brain Games releases recently is that they're in these sort of small, what I would consider a double deck box size box. That is extremely portable and means you can throw it in a backpack and take it with you wherever you go. So from that point of view, it's absolutely brilliant, and also it stores the cards, because this is just a box full of cards and a rule book for you to sort of take out. Now, one thing you do need to do before you take it somewhere after you've played once, like I said at the beginning, the first time you play, don't start shuffling the cards or looking or whatever. They're in a very predefined order, so those sets are all together. So like the set of 3 cards is there, then the next set of 3 cards. When you've finished a game though, before you play the next, you're going to need to sort that deck back out. And that just means you've got a few, like a minute or two of just putting the cards out into the different piles before you pack it away. You want to do that because it's a bit annoying at the other end, getting the game out and realising, oh, I need to put these in order. Because if you don't, and I did this once, everyone looks very confused as somehow 4 people don't have any teams combined. And very quickly you realise I need to sweep these cards, all these piles back up and sort them out, and then we can go. So do that sort of during pack up and you'll be ready for when the game hits the table the next time. Unlike some party games when you you just go, oh, we'll play this many rounds. Yeah, you can do that, but because of the way you sort the piles out into the middle of the table at the beginning, and you do leave some in the box, it does often mean you go, this is a very good amount of time. So it doesn't outstay its welcome, as you're mimicking your octopus, it's sort of the right amount of time between, it gives you a fair number of rounds, so you can't, maybe you don't do too well in the beginning, but you've still got enough time to come back and earn a load of points in the latter rounds, but also doesn't just keep going. And that means for once, actually, in a party game like this, we do score. Sometimes in a game like this, we'd just be like, ignore the scoring, we're just going to play a number of rounds and we'll laugh at who's guessed right or wrong. But in this, because it's a good amount of time and it feels like a good set length, you do score because you do want to know who has actually won at the end of this, which some party games, I just don't bother with the scoring. In Mimic Octopus, I like that sort of thing, that there is that overarching leaderboard and who's actually won the game. Something that some party games don't really do well with, but scoring in this one does work really well. So there you have it. Overall, Mimic Octopus is going to be great for someone that likes a little bit of silliness but still wants to be able to talk to their friends while they're playing a game. It's definitely that party atmosphere, so if that's going to get you excited to play, well, that is what Mimic Octopus is all about. When you're playing that first time, it's a bit silly and it's maybe a bit unsubtle, but as you start to play through the deck again, you'll know what some of the cards are and the subtleties and a bit of bluffing when you don't think someone's on your team, but you try and make them think that you are. That's when that can come out. And that adds a little extra sort of fun and spiciness into the gameplay that I really do like. That's probably when this game gets going. That first play, it's good. That second and third play, etc., that's when it will get going for you. I've enjoyed this as the original edition. The other two ones sound that bit extra silliness. It's like flirt and cringe. And for me, I think this is the right level. This seems silliness, but not cringiness. But they might be for you, and you can sort of combine them in a certain way as well. But I'm very happy with just the one box for now. And yeah, really have enjoyed Mimic Octopus. Let me know in the comment section below if you've played it, if you like the sound of the silliness that this one is going to be providing. And are you an octopus or a bluffing octopus, or are you on my team? Let me know in the comment section below. And until next time, have a mimicking good day.